Thank you. Time for our weekly look at the big stories and the big issues in crime this week. And as always, guiding us through it, Jackie Hames, who served with the Metropolitan Police for 30 years. Jackie, morning. Every week we spend a lot of time focusing on missing people, don't we? We're looking at three in particular. But I guess it's important around Christmas to give this extra momentum in the sense that this is a time when people really feel it when someone is missing from their family.
Totally. Those empty bedrooms take on even more significance, and also it's a time of tension as well in families. You know, if somebody is feeling vulnerable and unable to cope at home, it's a time that can spark off that feeling that they perhaps want to leave their lives and go off and start again somewhere new. There is a campaign going by missing people called #HomeForChristmas to try and highlight this issue, to get people to think about, can I go home and reconnect with my family again?
OK, I know we've got a bit of a clip from that campaign. Let's just have a listen in.
My son Lee was only 15 years of age when he was on his way home from Sutton to a house in Cheam, but he never returned, and that was in 1988 on September the 10th.
My son Quentin went missing in 1992 when he was nearly 19 years old. He just walked away from home after school one afternoon, and he's never been seen or heard of since.
My husband Tim went missing in July 2012. The last time I actually saw him, he was sleeping in bed, and I got up to get ready. While I was in the bathroom, I heard the car go, and I haven't seen him since that day.
250,000 people every year go missing in the UK, Jackie. That is a terrifying figure, actually. I mean, I wasn't aware it was that high.
It's huge, isn't it? But a huge number of those, something like 90%, do go home, reconnect with their lives quite quickly afterwards. But that still leaves a huge number, and certainly something like 140,000 of those are under 18. Which is extremely worrying because they are so vulnerable and able to sort of be drawn into, you know, some terrible things, as we've heard in the news recently. So it's so important that we focus on them and look at the stories behind them and keep looking for them. We're going to talk now to Peter Boxall, who you saw in that video, whose son Lee went missing, and also Dr. Sandy Mann, who's a psychologist up in Wilmshire. But if I can come to you first, Peter, 1988 Lee went missing. At only 15 years old. How hard has it been for your family to deal with his loss?
Well, it's been 26 years and it's been incredibly difficult for us, but we've had immense support from the Missing People charity. They've done wonders for us. They're always there at the end of the telephone line to talk to us and to give us immense support and raise lots of publicity to help us in our search for Lee.
And Peter, you've actually written some words to the Missing People Charities Choir campaign song. What motivated you to do that?
Well, that's down to Claire Cook. She's a wonderful woman who's encouraged me immensely, and she had the idea that if we formed a new choir, the Missing People's Rock Choir, we could perform a new song which would give comfort and support to all of those who have missing loved ones. And James Hawkins and Simon Rhodes developed my lyrics into a wonderful new song, and James Hawkins taught the choir to sing it, and we performed it recently at the Missing People's concert at St Martin's in the Field, and I think it went down quite well. And in a few days' time we're all going to meet again at the Abbey Road recording studios and actually have the great privilege of recording our song. That's
so what's wonderful for you and your family, Peter. I'd like to turn to Dr. Sandy Mann, the psychologist. Sandy, obviously with the case of Lee, you know, it's a completely unexplained disappearance, but a lot of people, as we saw in that video as well, just walk out of their lives. Can you explain the sort of emotional what's behind that? Why would somebody just walk away from their family, from their life?
I know, it's so sad, isn't it? But I think a lot of us can probably relate a little bit to that feeling of everything just being too much. And sometimes we just feel that we just want to stop the roller coaster and get off. And they're actually able to do that. So they're actually getting the courage, if you like, to do that, which is very, very sad. And getting back on that roller coaster and coming home can be really difficult. They just want to, you know, change things, move on with their lives and start again. And it's very sad that they've had the need to do that.
And it's incredibly difficult for families like Peter's to sort of deal with that loss, not least of which the financial loss if it's the main breadwinner who leaves the home, isn't it?
It's very sad. I mean, it's not just the practical things, but there's all the issues of whether they could have done something different, whether there's some guilt involved, should they have known what was going to happen, could they have helped this person? There's all sorts of issues, the lack of closure, the fact that they never know what's happened to their loved one. And of course, at this time of year, having that empty place at the table is just so distressing.
And what about those who've been away for a while but perhaps do want to reconnect, do want to get back in touch with their family, just don't know how to do it, don't know what to do, and it's you know, seems like a huge step to try and go back?
It's very, very hard, I think, once you've made that break and kind of reinvented yourself. And I think for a lot of these people, they probably separate their sort of previous life with their family with their current life, where they've kind of reinvented themselves and put their past behind them. For a lot of them, coming out of that is very difficult. The problems may still be there, or they may perceive their problems to still be there. There may be some kind of shame which they feel that there is associated with what they've done. They may disconnect with their family and sort of separate themselves from their family. And it's very difficult to overcome that. And a lot of them may think, well, you know, unless I've made a success of my life, I don't really want to go back unless I can show that I've made something of my life. So there's all sorts of reasons why they may be hesitant to take that first step.
So what would you suggest somebody does if they're watching this and they haven't been in touch with their family for many years?
So if anybody's watching, they haven't been in touch with their family, all I would say is your family really, really still miss you. I don't think it gets any easier for them. It probably gets harder. They just want to know that you're okay. And it's very hard to make that step and reconnect with your old life. But going through an organisation like Missing People can make a big difference. It can be easier for you and it can be easier for the family, just to let them know that you're okay at Christmas.
Thank you both very much, Stephen. As Sandy said there, the charity can facilitate an almost three-way conversation. They don't have to speak to them directly.
So it's that people aren't having to make that decision to actually go home, but it is just giving that sense of relief to the families who are waiting for any sort of answer.
Yeah, because being left in that limbo is just a torture, isn't it?
And is it 116000?
116000, yeah, and they're open all over Christmas for advice. Even if you're sitting at home and somebody's missing from your life and you just want to talk to someone, they'll be there for you. And I'm going to leave you this week with the Missing People's Choir. Their song this Christmas is called I Miss You. If you've missed any of this week's Crime UK, then watch again on Sky News for iPad. You will also be able to find it on our catch-up service. Now, have a great Christmas, and remember, if you can help with any of our missing people, call the Missing People's Helpline on 116 000.